and we all have our opinion, and I like you to get involved with the discussion. So I'll ask you questions for two reasons. One, to get your feedback, but more important, you don't go to sleep. So, the topic is there are 3 points that I want to cover. Which are these communities which are healthier and live longer? I'll ask you this question. Second, what is their secret? Again, I'll ask you to participate. And the last one is where I like to give my opinion, what can we learn. And here, same goes for you. Blue zones. Now, have you heard of blue zones?
Yeah. By the ocean?
Pardon me?
By the ocean?
By the ocean. That's a good idea. By the ocean, yes. We will be surprised, it may be true. Once we go through it, it may be true. Now, blue zones are the places where there are more people over the age of 100 per population. So that is the point, per population. And these are the people who have very little evidence of chronic disease. And it is by this person on the top, Dan Butner is the founder of Blue Zones. Now, I'm sure you people have read it. Those who get citizens, look at Friday, this 2 days ago, there was a write-up on the same thing. So I thought I'd review in details and share the information with you. I think there's a lot of useful points that we can all go over. Now the question to you, can you name these communities? Which are these communities with a longer and healthier lifespan? Japan where?
Okinawa.
No help. You can't help your wife. Okinawa. Okinawa, Japan was one. Any other?
Los Angeles, New
Pardon me? Norway? Any other?
California.
One I think.
A place in Italy.
A place in Italy.
Yeah.
There is a place in Himalayas.
A place in Himalaya. Any other?
California.
California.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
No.
Any other?
Kazakhstan.
Pardon me?
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Okay.
Sardinia.
Sardinia, somebody mentioned, is right here. And somebody mentioned Italy, right there. That's the place. Okinawa, Japan, you mentioned. Loma Linda,
Wow.
California, Kamal, you mentioned.
Yeah.
Costa Rica, you mentioned. And the last one,
India.
Greek island,
Greek.
Italia. So you know, these are the 5 communities where more people are over 100, anywhere in the world. That's the point. Don't get confused with this lifespan. When we talk about lifespan, we are talking about the average lifespan, which I'll show it to you. Secondly, just keep an eye, all these communities, they are isolated. See, I hope I'll find it, how to manipulate this. Isolated Greek island, Icaria. Similarly, this one is quite isolated. So is Sardinia. These are isolated. This may have significance, isolated localities. The second thing I already mentioned, we are referring to people over the age of 100 and not the average person. Now, if you look at the average lifespan for comparison, what is the lifespan in Canada? Lifespan in Canada and in India. Anybody? Sorry?
Canada is 78.
78,
85.
85,
65.
65.
80.
We are comparing a group who is 100. Now we are looking at the average lifespan, your and mine, in Canada and elsewhere. In Ontario, Ottawa, India. What is in Ontario? 80. 80 is for men. Please. 80 is for men. 84 are for women. That's in Ontario. You take Ottawa, it's better. 81.9 and 85 for women. In India, it is 65. Now you see the difference. And this is at birth. Today, 100 people are born. You follow them for their lifespan, and this is the numbers. We are not talking about people over the age of 100. And if you look at these Canadian statistics, which are not very good, last 10 years of life are unhealthy. So you can say 70% of your time, you are in good health, you don't have any symptoms, none of those. But at the remaining time, and that's the last 10 years of your life, are not healthy. So we are talking about health. How do we maintain good health? I take you to the basics. Very basics, how we maintain health. Probably you have seen this before. I presented this many times. This is the gist of what we need to know. How our body functions, good and bad. Right in the middle, there's a blue circle, and there are two lines in there. These are the genes. So this is the cell structure. That's how we look. And in the middle are the two genes, one from the father and the other from the mother. And the genes control the destiny of the cell. I think this is very basic. Everything that we have in us is controlled by the genes. So if you inherit good genes, healthy genes, your whole body will be good. If you inherit any of these genes defective, then the whole body will show in the form of some disease. Now, question to you, and that's where I like to have. These genes, once we inherit, and if they are normal, do you think they remain normal through your life? Are you saying then that gene can be affected from outside? I hope people get this point. Yes. Categorically, yes. Because most of the people always blame inherited genes, which is wrong. In fact, the genes are at the mercy of what you do from outside. I have written external factors, your lifestyle, your diet, and there are many other things which we are going to discuss today. So these external factors can affect the genes. And once the genes are affected, we have disease. Please do grasp this point. All the time we hear, all the time, oh, it is in my genes. Maybe true, but when we say that, we imply we got it from our parents. That's not true. We created abnormal genes the way we live, and that's called epigenetics. You don't need to remember the names, so long as you know the genes can be affected by what you do. Now, how do you know in your day-to-day life, you and I, that this combination of genes and these external factors, they are proper. I'm doing the right thing, so everything should be right. How do we get the warning that you are not going on the right track? Anybody?
Parents tell you.
Fatigued.
Pardon me?
Feel fatigued.
Fatigued? Okay.
I said parents tell you you are.
Parents tell you, yes. What else? How would you know?
Stressed, sick. We are stressed or not
Stressed.
sleeping properly.
Okay. Anybody else?
High blood pressure.
High blood pressure,
Disease. And
Anything?
any kind of disease, diabetes.
diabetes, it's too late.
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol,
Cancer.
The stomach.
it's too late.
Stomach being
What's that?
the stomach being upset.
Stomach being upset? Okay. Now I think I got it. Now let's go over. The first warning that comes, and we all ignore it. You may be surprised. Warning. Weight gain.
Yeah.
Weight gain. Nobody wants to talk about weight gain. That is a curse. People don't attach importance to it. Body mass index. For your height, you have too much weight. And your tummy this is what it means, the waist circumference. Now, is it difficult to measure this? You have a scale at home. Just stand on it. It doesn't cost you anything. And take it from me. This is the earliest warning comes, gaining few pounds. Blood pressure you mentioned, yes. Cholesterol you mentioned. Blood sugar nobody mentioned. And the cholesterol. Now you go to the doctor, they say your blood pressure is high. What's the cause of it? And the same two things come in. Oh, you must have genetic background, or the way you live. That's what we talked about. Same goes for everything else. So these are your warnings. And that is something we need to follow it. We just can't say, oh, I heard it, forget it. No. So this is the objective one. What are the communities? And you named it, and I gave you the background. Now the next question to you, what are those 9 points the author says these communities are following to stay healthier? That's objective number 2 of the talk. So let's start. What are those 9 points
Diet.
which the author says these people are doing it and that's why they are healthy? Hard work. She said hard work.
Exercise.
Well, hard work, exercise, okay.
Diet.
Diet,
Living close to the nature.
nature,
Environment, I would say.
environment,
I would say
No stress.
good lifestyle,
Positive
simplicity,
attitude.
undoing unnecessary things, simplifying things.
I said good attitude.
good attitude,
No old food,
pardon me?
no old food.
No old food,
No cell phone.
no cell phone. Anything else?
No technology.
No technology.
Basically lower
No,
consumption.
not sedentary,
So that means
not overweight.
we have no chance to live up to 100. Because all these things that you mentioned, that's what we are doing. That's exactly what we are doing. Think of it. That's what we are doing. I'll go over now, one by one. They came up with the 9 points. And I heard only a few. And would somebody like to add any more different than that?
Yes, worries, you worry about something.
Worry about it.
Eating less.
Pardon me?
Eating less.
Eating less.
Social contact, I would say lot of physical activity.
Physical activity.
Social contact.
Social contact.
Red wine.
Red, red wine.
Stress-free life.
Stress-free life. Okay, I think we got it now. Let's start with one. First is the diet.
One has from the other side.
Now, would you like to guess what they eat?
Please stay quiet.
Fish.
Whatever they grow. More fish.
Excuse me, I have a special request today. Please don't make a noise in between. I would appreciate this. If you have a question, direct to me. So what is the diet?
More
Fruits,
fish.
fruits and vegetables.
Pardon me?
Fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables.
Meatless.
Meatless.
Fish.
Fish.
No sugar.
fried food.
No sugar. No fried food.
Beans.
No animal products.
No animal products. Anything else?
No sauce.
No salt.
Beans.
No ghee.
Beans.
Beans.
Less salt.
Did you hear that?
Less
Beans. You mean to say don't eat beans or eat beans?
Less salt.
Less salt. Now let's look at it. Now, when I show you this, remember, we have 2 Canadian and international guidelines just came up this year. Canada Food Guide just came this year. And then there's the international body, the WHO, came up with the recommendations. I'll review that with you. Well, let's see what these people do. It's not the same in 5 areas. It's primarily plant-based. Plant-based food. Now, what is plant-based? Fruits and vegetables, she mentioned.
Wheat,
What's that?
wheat, grains,
Greens, what Praveen mentioned.
grains like
Grains.
beans.
Okay.
Greens.
90% fruits and vegetable, grains and legumes. Do you know legumes? Dal and beans. All these come into this. Now just remember, somebody said beans. Keep that in mind. What do they drink?
Milk.
Did you say coffee?
Green tea.
Wine.
Green tea.
Wine.
Water. Okay.
Milk.
Beans are the cornerstone of most people who are over the age of 100. Now, when I come to beans, you will see the international and Canadian guidelines coming to the same thing. So don't ignore the beans. Fruits and vegetables, I'm repeating it.
Whole grain, important word. You went on to other.
Meat is very small, if any. I think this is, the whole thing has changed. No guidelines anywhere in the world today emphasizing on meat. As a matter of fact, it's the other way around. Fluid intake, coffee. Praveen, you mentioned coffee. These octarians, these people, they drink a lot of coffee. At least 2 or 3 cups of black coffee per day. I'm sure none of us.
I do.
Few of us. That's few. Few of us do it. We have milk, cream, this, that. They drink 2 to 3 cups of black coffee in all these 5 localities I'm talking about. Now you wonder, what does coffee do? If you forget about this, look at coffee in general.
Good for the heart.
Good for the heart. Anything else? What does coffee do?
It's good for weight loss.
Stimulant. It's constipated.
Please remember what she said. Weight loss. Why? Why? I want you to think. This is the thinking process. Why
No calories.
black coffee can reduce weight? There is no milk or no sugar, no calories. Anything else?
Immunity.
Immunity? Okay. Anything else?
It causes insomnia.
Excuse me, please.
It causes insomnia if it's taken in.
Okay. It causes insomnia. That means lack of sleep.
Stimulant.
If it depletes calcium,
But that won't do the bone weight.
no, I know, but.
Okay. Now, let me come back to this. Do you know how many types of weight we have? There are 3 kinds of weight, all of us. One is due to fat. That's bad. The second one is due to your bones, muscles, organs. That's good. And there is the third kind of weight, and that is salt, with water in it, salt and water. So let's take coffee. Fat cells. There are how many different types of fat cells do we have? Fat cells, all of us have it. Do you know how many types you know? There are white fat cells, and then there are brown fat cells. The little kid, the child who is born up to a certain age, they have lot of brown fat. Now what is so different about the brown fat? The brown fat has in it something I showed in the slide earlier, mitochondria. What is mitochondria? The furnace. So long as you have the brown fat, you have a lot of mitochondria, the furnace, you're burning calories. So coffee activates your brown fat. So that you mentioned, it reduces weight, and there are different reasons. One of them, it activates your brown fat. And the rest is tea and water, they common to all of us. But drinking 2 or 3 cups per day of coffee, very few of us do it. Now somebody mentioned red wine, and I know who did. Moderate but regular consumption of wine. Now I'll show you individually these communities. There is one community which does not touch alcohol, red wine including. And one of the 5 areas that I showed you in California, Loma Linda, they don't drink wine. It's forbidden. So it's not a universal thing that red wine is the answer. Now what's the third one? 80% rule somebody mentioned. This is strictly followed in Japan. What is 80% rule? Anybody?
Good 80% vegetables and all that.
80% vegetables.
Eat up to 80%.
Pardon?
Eat until you're 80% full.
Exercise.
80%, eat up to 80% of your proper intake, your food. That's what it is. So somebody say eat less. That's what it amounts to. I don't think we do it. I don't think we do it. And this is one of the curse. Obesity is rampant. Obesity doesn't happen without eating. So this rule of 80 is followed in Japan strictly. All of us, we can learn, we should eat less. 80% stomach full. Smallest meal in the early evening. What is the significance? Don't eat after 7. Don't eat after 8. Why?
It's because you cannot digest that and you don't have.
One person at a time, please.
It's because you cannot digest your meal and also you don't exercise or anything in the evenings.
Digest.
Same thing. Okay, anything else?
Because we are too full that time and we tend to go to bed early also. Or we sit on the sofa watching TV after the dinner. Yeah.
Let me tell you, this last thing, none of us follow it. Because all our Friday, Saturday parties are after 9 o'clock. And the food is so much that by the time you finish eating, it's almost midnight.
And even on 9 days.
Or even on the normal days. Now somebody sitting in the audience did the experiment. That person is sitting in the audience, did the experiment. That person doesn't eat after 8, didn't eat, but one day, or a few times, he did.